Hi guys, this is LT Survival. Well, this is a VR to FS Bushcraft. At the gathering, he was presenting the cold weather clothing he was using, and was referring to the Canadian Force Mukluk, which we all have issue with when we go to the Arctic or lower. Stay tuned. That's the subject of this video, so we'll be right back. Well, as you can see in the back of me, we have the Canadian Force Mukluk boots. There's a new model coming in, so these model might end up in some surplus in your area, so it's going to be a good grab. They're so warm that you will sweat in it, and it's important to know that in these latitude, I mean basically in Canada, the northern US, these are very warm. They have a nylon outing. I'm just going to close up so that way you can see the way they're made. So basically this is nylon. The leg is nylon. It's a high leg, and you have a rubber sole with some grip. Okay, they're never new now because they're getting through many issues, so they're never white either. With a rubber toe, and you have tie outs, 3 tie outs on each side, and you have a tie out in the back. Mine are getting very bad, and all the lashing, I'm going through the laces, and the trick is to lace them either on the ring or into the fabric loop, because these are breaking away all the time. I have one broken here, so I'm replacing once in a while. Why am I lacing in the back here? Well, it keeps the toe, once you lace them back up in front of your ankle, it keeps the toe, the heel, I must say, okay, that way when you lace here, keeps the heel from flopping out. It's a trick the guys are using. This is supposed to be used with the skis, because these we wear with snowshoes and skis. They look like alpine skis, very wide, and they're cross-trek type skis. So this is nylon, and this is just the part that's rubber, so it's not waterproof, but it breathes. Inside we've got the liner. I got my second pair here, never worn, brand spanking new. They're composed basically, let me back up a bit. Let me adjust this a little bit. Okay. Okay, inside there is a second. Basically, you've got 2 pairs. Okay? A pair inside each other. As you can see here. Okay? So you have to, when you make them dry, you have to pull them out of each other. Okay? To suspend them, and that's the trick of it. And I think they're composed of wool. Here's the instruction. As I was saying, they're basically double layered wool socks, and the stickers is pretty funny because it says wear over 1 pair of socks. I'm going to show you the socks we wear, either the gray socks or the cold weather socks. To dry, pull the inside duffel socks completely out the other socks and dry slowly away from flame. To clean, in lukewarm water, so basically cold water with a mild soap, no hot water because they're going to shrink like crazy. And they say, and that's the funny part, keep clean, dirty socks are cold. Canadian Forces stickers. So these are the right size for the boots, and that's important because sometimes in the surplus you find the wrong socks in the boots, and it's either bunched up at the end if they're too big, or they will be too short when you're gonna wear it. The other part, when we pull out the socks from the boots, there is an insole inside. There is a mesh insole like this one, again, same size, very thick insoles. They're plastics, they let pass the water through, and on top of it you have another set of wool insoles so that you layer over your boots. So you have this underneath on the rubber, between the rubber and the socks, basically. Okay, and oh, I'm too close. So you've got let's do that. So basically, you've got your boots, you got the mesh insole, the wool insole, and the socks, the double layer sock on top of that in your boots, followed on your foot. You will wear either the cold weather socks or the gray socks, which are very high on the knee, which underneath you wear the liner. Mines are getting pretty bad. We get some every year, so when they're getting bad, throw them away. Okay, and they're sized by color ring. So you see mines are blue, and they're very thick wool. This is the cold weather. This is the lighter one. That's the general purpose one we wear in summer and winter. Oops, and the thinner. Okay, and the liner wear all the time. So that's a 2-layer socks system in the Canadian Forces. Okay, very comfortable. These socks with the liner, we always wear the liner with it, are really warm. A summer boots with these socks would be okay to go in the winter. So there's really neat, really good stuff. So you're saying, okay, if I can't find any in the surplus, well, you can maybe find a civilian version of the mukluk. These are more than 10 years old. They're Acton, which is a Quebec company. Okay, Acton, and I think Sorel used to do a boot like that. So they're kind of look-alike to the mukluk, but the foot part is all rubber. Great sole underneath, great traction, and that's important because sometimes you have boots that don't have any traction at all. These are basically -60 rated. The other one close to -100 if you wear the right socks. Same principle. They have a ring attachment to do, and this one, once you tighten the ankle, the back doesn't flop because they're more rigid. Okay, I think the next generation mukluk is going to look like that. They're with brown camel. So basically the winter boot. Inside that boot, and that's the secret of the Acton, mine are really old. They're getting frayed apart. They're getting apart at the seams, but they're really comfortable. Aluminum the kind of an aluminum liner on the outside, and it's a layer, it's a 2-layer type of insole. These I've worn a lot and they're very comfortable. Makes for great winter boots, and sometimes you buy a I would say that snowmobile attire. One word of wisdom on those boots: they're mainly made to keep you warm as you are still. So if you work or move a lot, you'll get sweaty, and that's usual. I get sweaty in those too. So you might have to change your socks. Since it's wool, you're getting insulation anyway, so they're really nice, but you have to change the socks once in a while. The civilian version, because of the more rubbery outer boots, and they're not made anymore, I think, at the Acton. They have new kinds of model, but you can find something similar now. Because of the rubbery, they were waterproof, water resist, so you could step into a slushy water type of snow and not get wet. So basically these were pretty good, a little better than the Canadian Force type material, but the material of the Canadian Force is tougher, so a little less and more modular, so it's easier to use. So hopefully this answered the question about the Canadian Force Mukluk. Okay, this is probably the last of them of that color. The next one will have a brown pattern on it. Since snow is never really white, they were made white, but they're now going to be camouflage in the next generation. And also Canadian Forces are changing their policy. Not all soldier will be issued the Mukluk unless you're going to the upper Arctic. Now what they're going to do is they're going to do a NEOS over boots. So you'll be wearing your combat boots, and you'll have a NEOS over boots that you pull over. So they're black basically. They have very little insulation, or they have a layer of insulation in some models, a thick sole, and you wear them over your combat boots. So it's going to be a layering system. It's going to be less expensive and a little less bulky, because these are huge to carry in your rucksack. Okay, that's the smallest you can make. You have 2 of them, so it's harder to carry. So hopefully, and I'll try to have an image of a NEOS over boots, so I'll try to integrate that into the video. I guess there's an emergency somewhere because police are driving all over the place. In town. So stay tuned. If you like this video, give it the thumbs up, share and subscribe, and we'll be seeing you in the next video. See you next time.